reported that before the Obama administration left and the Trump administration came on board, Obama administration officials made a list of documents related to the Russia investigation, basically in order to keep them safe. Quoting from the NBC News report today, quote, Obama administration officials were so concerned about what would happen to key classified documents related to the Russia probe once President Trump took office that they created a list of document serial numbers to give to senior members of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Quote, a former Obama administration official tells NBC News that after the list of documents related to the probe into Russian interference in the U.S. election was created in early January, after that list of numbers was created, he, the former Obama administration official, hand-carried that list of serial numbers to members of the Senate Intelligence Committee. The purpose was to make it, quote, harder to bury the information. So, the investigation into the Russian attack on our election last year, it started, obviously, during the Obama administration. The Obama administration was worried that the Trump folks would erase it, would get rid of what had been found already. So, NBC News reports tonight that Obama administration officials made a list of all the documents that existed at the time Trump took over. And now the Senate Intelligence Committee can look at that list and they can know, they can find out if any of those documents related to the investigation have in fact been mysteriously disappeared. They've got basically the table of contents, just in case somebody's been burning the chapters.
Obama fucking cares.
And maybe making that list was not such a bad idea. Remember what a weird thing it was when we found out that Steve Bannon was getting a seat on the National Security Council, right? This is the freaking National Security Council. Steve Bannon is the publisher of a right-wing website who lives on Seinfeld royalties. What is he doing on the National Security Council?
He looks like a little devil, though.
After an initial freakout that Steve Bannon was on the Principals Committee of the National Security Council now, and the CIA director and the director of national intelligence and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs were not on that Principals Committee. After furor over that development, those other high-ranking officials were reinstated at the National Security Council. But Bannon didn't go. They kept Bannon there as well. Even after they got rid of General Michael Flynn as National Security Advisor, replaced him with H.R. McMaster, they still kept Steve Bannon on at the National Security Council. H.R. McMaster was reportedly told that he could hire and fire at will on the National Security Council. That didn't turn out to be true. He did try to fire a young man named Ezra Cohen Watnick. And the White House, including Steve Bannon, intervened to keep Ezra Cohen Watnick in his job. And now Ezra Cohen Watnick from the National Security Council, as well as the top lawyer at the National Security Council, have both been named as two of the people who took intelligence intercepts that may or may not be related to investigations into the Trump campaign and its potential collusion with Russia. They took those intercepts and they fed them out of the White House for political effect.
Make America great.
Weird that Steve Bannon's on the National Security Council, right? Still. Especially if the National Security Council is now turning out to be the vehicle by which the White House is trying to kibosh these investigations. Joining us now is Ned Price. Until mid-February of this year, Mr. Price worked at the CIA as a spokesman and senior analyst. Before he quit that job, he has also in the past served as spokesman and senior director at the National Security Council. Mr. Price, thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. I appreciate you being here.
It's good to be here.
So, I highlighted the role of Adam Schiff here because he has been very aggressive in not just pursuing this investigation, but also raising questions about what the White House has done here, how the National Security Council in this case has behaved. He's basically described national security councils as being implicated in laundering intelligence, as hiding the origins of intelligence that was fed out and made public for political purposes. As somebody who worked on the National Security Council, how does that strike you as an allegation?
I live this life.
Well, it's absolutely credible, and it certainly appears to be what happened here. Look, Rachel, President Trump made a name for himself as a showman, and I think what we've seen over the past week has been little more than amateur political theater. Except the stakes in this case are certainly much higher than who gets the apprenticeship with the Trump Organization, and this is really about our national security. Look, I think the true nature of this incident began to reveal itself earlier this week when Chairman Nunes finally confirmed that, yes, he met his sources on the White House grounds. That was the clearest indication to date that this was a scheme that was cooked up by the White House, including by apparently these two senior National Security Council officials. And I say scheme, cooked up, because they didn't need Chairman Nunes to go down to the White House to have this furtive, surreptitious meeting. They didn't need this middleman. These two senior NSC officials could have made the 5-minute or so walk from the 4th floor of the Eisenhower building, where Mr. Cohen-Watnick's office is located, to the Oval Office, if they felt they had something important that the president needed to see. But instead, as Vice Chair Schiff said, they laundered this information through Devin Nunes, who has proven himself to be a willing pawn of the White House for a couple reasons. One, they wanted to add credibility to these documents. 2, of course, they wanted to obscure the source. This couldn't be coming from the White House. And 3, Rachel, I think importantly, they wanted to distract from the unmitigated disaster that was the HPSC, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence hearing last Monday, in which Director Comey admitted for the first time that there is an active, ongoing counterintelligence investigation that could well reach into the White House. And frankly, they succeeded. If it hadn't been so ham-handed, they may have gotten away with it. But eventually, this caper has caught up with them.
Ned, one of the things that people are starting to get increasingly concerned